It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
Let's talk about it can still leave you unhappy.
Yeah, I think this one, a lot of we all hear the saying, money can't buy happiness, but very few people actually really believe that, right? They think, oh no, yeah, you say that. Let me win the lottery, and I'll tell you if that's true or not, right? Isn't that what most people say?
Because money, we think money's going to fix things. Mm-hmm. We think if I can just make this much, or if I just have this amount of money in the bank, I will be okay. And that led to don't pull up the quote yet, okay. But Jim Carrey. What's funny is Full-Time Equivalent Daniel brought me a Jim Carrey quote, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is a great quote, because for those that this is the story that when I told this in pre-show, y'all didn't know it.
I'd never heard this story
I was
before.
like, holy cow, how do you not know this story? Jim Carrey, a lot of motivational people will point to Jim Carrey as how you should do things that can reaffirm goals, because Jim Carrey in 1985, he was a struggling comedian / actor, probably comedian is what I was thinking he was primarily focused on. He was broke. I mean, he come from dirt poor poverty. He's trying to make it in L.A., and he was looking at his future, and he said, you know what, I'm going to write myself a $10 million check. Keep it in my wallet. I'm even going to put in the memo section for acting services rendered, and I'm going to cash this check within 10 years.
So he was like speaking his success into existence.
Yeah,
right?
So he was telling us, I'm going to write myself a $10 million check that will be payable in 10 years. He talked about this on Oprah. I mean, this was everywhere. Everybody was like, holy cow, that is such a powerful, powerful thing. So we all know the rest of the story is that around 1995, he got paid, this is after Pet Detective and all the Ace Ventura stuff.
Yeah.
He got paid exactly $10 million for Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
That was what his original. So everybody's like, wow, so it worked out to this beautiful. If you were writing a movie script, you're like, this is the way you do success. So now I want to talk about the rest of the story. Bring up FTE Daniel's quote.
All right. This is what Jim Carrey said. He says, I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute. This is the guy that is being held up that if you just do this, if you write yourself a check, put it in your wallet. Do we even have checks anymore? So I don't know. Would we write this on our debit card now? But it's one of those things where it is. That's sad to me, because this is the guy that they push. And then let's go ahead and let's bring it down to even more pop culture. Maybe now here's the thing: Jim Carrey's story is getting older. That's why y'all had not heard it. Maybe y'all have never heard of this song. So pull up the lyrics on this one.
So this one is from the Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls. He says, I don't know what they want from me. It's like the more money we come across, the more problems we see.
If I could sing in a soprano, like the ladies on that song, I would totally give that to you guys. But I just don't sing. So, that's not in my octave.
Reeve and I had a running bet. We had $5 saying that you were going to sing on the show. He just did it.
That was a hum because I can hear it in my head. But it is more money, more problems. But you have to. But it is one of those things where why are we writing song lyrics for people who supposedly have it all? So let's go deeper on if money is not going to give you everything you've ever wanted. Let's at least have a better understanding. We've done an entire show on happiness and money. And here's what we've realized, and this comes from a lot of research that's out there. I mean, Time even had a magazine, a special edition magazine on the science of happiness. And you see it everywhere. If you want to type in how much money you need to have to be happy, $75,000 is what you're going to find in all the Google searches.
I think a lot of people are astounded to hear that. And there have been so many studies, and there have even been tangential studies talking about parenting and other stuff. That really is sort of a magnificent place. A lot of folks think, I have to be a movie star. I have to be a celebrity. I have to have millions and millions and millions. The data kind of shows otherwise as it relates to happiness.
I think we have to be clear on this, though, because when they say $75,000 will buy you happiness, what they mean by happiness is they means it covers your necessities. Because they've done research, a person who goes from making $20,000 to $50,000, they are like twofold on the happy factor. They're like, woohoo! It is huge. But when you go from $50,000 to $90,000, there's not much difference. So that's why it's kind of a Goldilocks calculation where they said, where is the threshold? Now, I realize everybody who lives in New York and California is going to start piling on the comments section here, because it probably is underlisted for those high cost of living coastal areas. But it is, it's one of those things. 75,000 is that sweet spot where a lot of life's necessities of housing, food, those type of things, you're not worried how you're going to pay for that.
So
but that's not fulfillment.
And so one of the things we want to do is answer, okay, why is that the case? Why is it that more money, more resources, more availability doesn't lead to an increased level of happiness?
Even though there's entire industries trying to sell us buy, consumerism is your friend. But here's the thing. There was a few things. Number one, we overestimate how much pleasure you'll get from having more. I mean, and this is the thing. Humans, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, are highly adaptive. You can go buy yourself the nicest sports car, even if you're coming from a Honda Accord, and it's going to be great for a period of time, but then there will come a time that you'll go,
that's just a car.
another car in my garage. Number two, more money can also lead to more stress. I mean, we saw it. What movie was it? It wasn't Margin. Was it Margin Call or what? Where the guy talked about how $1 million,
it was Margin Call, yeah. And he went through how quickly it spent and how quickly
because he talked about his car payment, his house payment, and he's like, "No, I'm broke as a joke."
Yep.
And the guy's like, "How are you broke? You make $1 million a year." And he goes, "Boom, boom, boom, boom." And he talked after taxes.
Gone.
I mean, it shows. So more money, because especially if you're having to work so much harder to get it. Number three, you endlessly compare yourself with the family next door.
The Joneses exist, and it's a real thing, and we all fall victim to that unless we implement some of the Money Guy tips to avoid that.
So let's do some Money Guy tips. You need to know what money is and what money isn't. This thing's a tool, guys. It is straight up just a tool to help you take a little bit of your time to buy goods for, survival, giving you food, giving you shelter. You need to understand this thing is not what you should focus your life on.
And if you have a hole and you think the money's going to fill that hole, what you're going to be very sad to find is that if you're like, okay, if I can just make this much, then I'll be happy. When you get there, it's going to be a little bit more. If I can just make this much, you get there, it's going to be a little bit more. And that vicious cycle will keep on and keep on and keep on if that's the hole you're trying to fill with money.
Because what I'm hearing is you've got to know your why. And that's point two is, why are you on the face of the earth? What have you been put here to do? What's the purpose? Because, and this ties in, if we know $75,000 will get you necessities, which means basic happiness, because it's covering the basics. What's the next step? What's the thing that has people gazing out in the future going, man, that was a good thing? Or what's going to get you on Willie Geiss's Sunday show as a life well lived when they look back on lives, people who've recently deceased? It is the fulfillment comes from you have a purpose.
That's right.
That when you go to work every day, you feel like you're making a little bit of what you're doing is making the world a better place. That is what does it. So emotional well-being comes in at $75,000, but fulfillment comes from the way you feel about the direction you're moving things.
And I think, you had actually done this in like a math equation. So the emotional well-being plus the way you feel about your life's direction or fulfillment, that's what leads to happiness.
It's a recipe
the basics
here.
And then fulfillment.
If you leave out, key ingredients like sugar and cookies, you're
It doesn't
not
turn
going
out
to
well.
have good cookies. I can assure you of that.